this time of the year for me always feels like a kind of a funny time of the year, because it's got that kind of hibernating sort of energy where you don't really want to leave the house. You'd rather just kind of like stay at home and just be cozy and warm and all that kind of thing, but you know, life still goes on and we have to do all that sort of stuff. So our energy naturally becomes kind of restful at this time of the year. But we now live in a world that's 24/7, 365 days of the year, same pace, same momentum. Same agenda, same tasks, same schedule, all of that kind of thing. So it's like we're not allowed our just natural rhythm of how we would move with the weather or food supplies or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that period of coming up to Christmas can be not so easy for people. A number of years ago, and I never really understood why this was, but that period of time coming up to Christmas would always feel quite sad to me. And the whole energy of Christmas always has that sort of mixed feeling, or it used to have that kind of mixed feeling. It was like this very joyful thing, but I would also feel kind of lots of sadness around it as well. Never fully kind of understood that. In the world and in the cosmos at any time, we have the light energy and we have the dark energy. And we're always dealing with a mixture of both. And part of our journey, part of our healing, is how we find our position and we find our mindset for how we address that. It feels like to me that if we take our foot off the accelerator, if we don't do anything, the automatic default is the negative. Our brain will default to negative thinking. It will default into fearful thinking, free fall kind of fearful thinking, if we don't make any effort. In order to stay aligned with what's light and positive and effortless, we actually have to make quite a bit of effort to stay in that space. It kind of reminds me a little bit of eating healthy. In order to kind of stay fit and healthy, it's an effort to eat healthy. It's effortless to eat shit and eat junk and eat sugar and all that kind of stuff. But it requires thoughtfulness and a little bit of planning and a little bit of effort that we eat well and eat right. Our inner journey feels like that all the time. There's something like our personality exerts influence through the ego. And our soul exerts influence through intuition. And at any one time it feels like both of those are there. The personality and the ego side is always influenced by external factors. So that's what's going on in the world, what the current news stories are, or what's going on in our personal lives, our work, our families, our relationships, our children, all of that kind of stuff. That's always exerting an influence in some way. And then on the other hand, our soul has its blueprint and contract for this life. And that's exerting an influence at the same time. That for me exerts influence through intuition, through that deeper kind of gut feeling. That registers a little bit like what's right or not right for me, but it feels on a kind of higher perspective, on an overarching kind of perspective. Where it feels that we get lost, where I've definitely got lost, is not knowing the difference between both. Not being able to discern, is this just the human side of me exerting this influence? I'm wanting to push in this direction or wanting to follow this dream or this desire or whatever it is. Or whether it's the soul side of things. It feels really important that we explore that. You know, we can do that by asking, what dreams exactly am I following? And when we look at how we're living our life, am I living to the recipe or the manuscript that society prescribes for me? By a certain age you should be this, by a certain age you should be that. You should be earning this amount of money, you should be living in this way, you should... all of this stuff, the shoulds. Is that what we create our dreams with? And most of us do. I've definitely done that. Or can we feel that there's a space a little bit beyond that? That has a freedom beyond those societal kind of desires and dreams of what we should or shouldn't do. It's one of the most frequent questions that I get. People asking me, Emer, what's my soul purpose? I really want to find out my soul purpose. So even in asking that question, we're aware of the power of getting lost just in the humanity of things. Day-to-day demands of life, the fogginess that we're feeling at the moment. How easy it is to just be in that and lose contact with any other perspective. We may not even feel that it exists for us. What's my soul purpose? Sometimes we can even get lost in that question. The human side of us has no real framework for that or idea of that. So it can feel like looking for something that's not actually there because we're looking in the wrong place. Our journey and how we bring that soul aspect of us into the human part of us, then we can start finding our way to that track. I remember at one point Dennis saying that to me. I've been doing japa for whatever number of months. And him saying to me, you're on the path now. And I'm going, okay. I had no ability to relate to what he was saying. I just hoped that he was right. After feeling very lost in the years before that. And hearing him say that felt really comforting. But to tell you the truth, I couldn't feel any difference. I was just really hoping that, this is the right track for me. This is the track that my soul intended for me. You hear people using the expression of getting a calling. We would have used that in the past for people getting called to holy orders or something like that. And when I was younger, I remember thinking that it was like an actual call, a phone call if you were meant to join whatever holy orders, I was too young to understand what they were really, and I thought, oh shit, so if you're picked for this, you have no choice about it, I was terrified. I didn't want to get that call. But our soul speaks in that sort of way. It speaks in something kind of like a nudge in a particular direction. Sometimes it feels like it's nudging us in the direction that we feel we don't want to go. If soul is nudging us in a way that doesn't match the ego side of our personality, ego will kick back on